Hello! Today we'll be covering the newest super ship, the Italian cruiser, the Piemonte. Like previous super ships, the Piemonte will initially be in the early access and sold through the auction. Players can bid credits for her, with a starting bid at around 100 million credits like the other ones. This time around, the Piemonte is the only super ship in the auction, but the number of winners has increased to 888. Past winning bids were around 250 million credits, but this may be increased as she is the only super ship in the auction this time around. She will be available in 3 months for roughly 50 million credits, and as long as you have the Venezia line research, you're able to get her and buy her for the 50 million credits. So I don't recommend getting her now unless you don't mind paying 6 times the cost. As always, I'll be going over my recommended build, general characteristics of the ship, and what I think of her performance overall. Let's start with the captain build, which we showed on the top right. And you guys can pause the video any time to look over the build and let me know what you think of it. It's pretty much the same captain build as other Italian cruisers, so it's pretty easy just to transfer over commander from a Venezia or Napoli over onto it. I do highly recommend running Cincinnati due to his improved range and rate of fire talents. Cincinnati isn't mandatory, but he provides a significant boost if you can activate his talents. But if you are using a normal captain, then running range upgrade in Slog 6 is perfectly fine as well. Now, the Piemonte is essentially a love child between a Napoli and a Venezia. It's a ship that combines Napoli's durability with Venezia's firepower. Her armor is very similar to Napoli's, including her armor, thickness, and space citadel. And the armor will be shown for you guys to be able to look at. The 40mm deck and upper belt armor lets her bounce BB-AP shells and shatter most cruiser HE. Combined with her fuel smokes and heals, a good Piemonte will prove an irremovable thorn in the enemy size. Now, as normally as you would play in a Venezia, you're trying to go to the side flanks to be able to get on the flanks of your enemies, so you can use that sap really effectively. Pretty much kind of like a normal cruiser would, or a normal playstyle of the Italians. If you play this ship like a Venezia or a Napoli, you'll do great in this ship overall. Just saying, you pretty much play this very similar to a Venezia or a Napoli, you'll do fantastic. The guns are solid, but are a minor improvement over the Venezia, unfortunately. The dispersion will be shown while I talk about the guns. Now, the Piemonte has 254mm guns that lets her overmatch 16mm armor on some light cruisers and punch through the Yamato and Kremlin deck armor. Unfortunately, she suffers from the same terrible reload speed and range issues that plague the Venezia. In fact, it's arguably worse since the Piemonte doesn't get a spotter plane to increase her gun range, so it's kind of a disaster. Aside from a slightly faster shells and 10% more damage, her firepower is about the same as her predecessor. Pretty disappointing considering some other tier 11 cruisers get as much as a 33 increase in DPM or 1,000 DPM increase, talking about Annapolis at this point. Like, good lord, man. Or the Edgar, like, Jesus. The Piemonte uses the same Torps as Napoli, firing 4 per broadside salvo. The one downside of these reels, though, you have way worse launching angles for these torpedoes. So I feel like these are a downgrade now compared to, if you're thinking of it like a Napoli, it's definitely a downgrade compared to the Napoli, because Napoli has amazing torpedo angles, while the Piemonte's angles are absolute garbage. You have to be so broadside to be able to use them. But again, the torpedoes still do good, it's just the fire angles just aren't the best. So definitely make sure that you're being wary of your broadside when you do launch these torpedoes. These torpedoes may be slow, but they are difficult to dodge. Like Napoli, you can sometimes pull off yellow rush shenanigans, which is definitely fun, thanks to your amazing armor. But But keep in mind your torpedoes won't kill like healthy full health ships, but a good AP salvo combined with the torpedoes should be enough for all but the tankiest BBs. So definitely take note of that when you do play the Piedmont. For maneuverability is slightly worse, but it's still really good for a cruiser. And you can't really complain when you're one of the fastest cruisers in the game. Still slower than the French cruisers, but you can still run down everyone else pretty much. Her secondaries and anti-air aren't very good. They're not much to talk about. In fact, they are worse than the Venezia, which herself isn't very good with the anti-air secondaries. I don't know how. Because, like, how do you get worse as a tier 11? But, all right, it gets worse. So, rip. I don't know. So, if you see a CV, good luck. Good luck. Have fun dodging. At least you get airstrike ASW. So, you don't have to just sit your dumpy on top of them to get your depth charges off. So, that's very, 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 very nice indeed. At least you don't have to do that. So, that's nice. It works. But it's glad you don't have to, you know, actually melee fight the sub while trying to avoid the shotgunning. So it is what it is. For randoms, like my overall review of the Piedmont is pretty much a tanky Venezia, other than dying when broadside, other than not dying when broadside. She doesn't do much that a Venezia already does. If you had no trouble surviving an Venezia or a Napoli, then the Piedmont will feel like a side grade, sometimes even a downgrade, as you don't get a spotter plane to boost your gun range, which is very disappointing. That's not to say that Piedmont is a bad ship or can't perform. As you'll be watching throughout this match, I did a very good job getting on the flank, getting the enemy to focus on me while my team was able to get more cross shots on them. This is pretty much like the optimum position for the Piedmont or the Venezia or Napoli, where you're trying to get on that side, just be a harassment on their side using their sap, using your sap and AP just to hound them, harass them, and if they push into you, you use your torpedoes to be able to get those torpedo hits and then get that nice good old flood damage. Yeah, boy. But she definitely does not feel like a super ship when compared to a Annapolis or a Conde. Like, I'd still rather play I don't know. Like, the Annapolis and Conde are still great, but at the same time, the Piedmont to me is like, it's like right around there. It definitely takes a lot of work to do a lot of damage with these guns, but at the same time, you don't really get a funny button, but you do get a really, really long smoke ring, which is super nice to disengage, which is super nice. You get a nice heal and a nice DCP, nice ASW, and you get the Napoli hull with the Venezia firepower pretty much. And we already know how effing tanky the Napoli is nowadays. It's literally a nightmare. Oh man, I've been currently playing the Napoli in clan battles recently, and my god, dude, the stuff that a Napoli can do is just incredible. Like its roll, like how tanky is it, how annoying it is to kill. Like it's just a nightmare. That little demon of a ship is just a little nightmare, dude. The biggest of nightmares. Now moving on, where the Piedmont potentially shines is in ranked or situations where you're only fighting a few ships. Her insane durability and sap can crush any ship that doesn't completely bow into you. And if they do, they're a sitting duck for any BB that has crossfires. She may also have potential in clan battles as a durable off-flank ship, similar to Napoli's role. Though this is speculative, and I doubt many teams are willing to spend 250 million credits to test her potential when tried and true lineups already exist. Now, this is what I thought last time, potentially for the Super Petro, and I was wrong because people started bringing the Super Petro. people were bringing Super Petro during the clan battle season when it wasn't available. Now people are able to get the Super Petro. I still don't see much of them. A lot of the strategies right now that I've been seeing in clan battles is either the Stalingrad wall, or people running the Zorky with a Napoli on a side flank, or just using a smoke strat. There's three main strats, and a lot of the top clans I've been seeing on NA use the Russian wall strat, where it's just Stalingrads, Moskvas, you know, the good stuff. And they use like the Stalingrads, Moskvas, Patry, and Marceau. I'm trying to remember what the DDs were, but the strat for the clan battles is pretty, yeah, it's pretty much around what it is. But with so many limitations on clan battles, it's definitely rough for sure in that regard. But again, the ship will be available in the auction coming up. It should be this week. Probably around the 22nd, which is around my birthday. You guys didn't know, my birthday's coming up on the 22nd. And I'll be doing a week-long donathon for that, with fun goals and rewards for hitting certain things, like picking my profile picture or doing funny tweets, stuff like that. So you guys are definitely interested in that, definitely check it out. Go to my Discord. I'll have the link in it there, or I'll have it on my Twitter. You guys can check it out as well. But yeah, I'd greatly appreciate it, and thank you guys again for watching. So at this point, we're just gonna go on and just talk about general play styles. As you can see, pretty much this whole match, I just went wide. Very similar play style to a Napoli, being a little bit aggressive at first, then using the smoke to disengage if I need to. So if I'm too aggressive, I use the smoke to be able to turn around and go dark, firewall in the smoke. The ship does have an 11.2 kilometer concealment when firing in smoke. You do have to take note of that, because the Napoli's is 8.8 kilometers, and the Venezia I think is around 9.2-ish. So the Piemonte having an 11.2 kilometer concealment when shooting in smoke is definitely a nerf to the overall ability, but at the same time, the ship is so tanky. I think it's kind of worth it in the end for that extra, for that kind of nerf. It kind of makes sense on that, because in this particular match, it was really well performance throughout. I did consistent damage using the sap. AP, it was okay. It was all right. It just overall, I felt like a pretty decent match. It was a pretty nice match. I played about 5 or 6 other matches to kind of get a feel for this ship, and it felt pretty natural. Like, since I was playing a lot of Napoli in clan battles, it was pretty easy for me to just pop in this ship, be like, all right, cool. It just felt super natural. It didn't feel too rough to get used to. So my suggestion is, if you enjoy playing Napoli, you enjoy playing Venezia, then you'll enjoy playing the Piemonte. If you don't enjoy playing Napoli and you don't enjoy playing Venezia, then you will not enjoy playing the Piemonte. And that is my overall review on the ship, and my general suggestion if I recommend it or not. If you enjoy the Venezia and the Napoli, you'll like it. If you don't, then you won't. And that's about it. So anyway, that is going to be the video for today. If you guys have any questions or concerns, then let me know in the comments down below. I'll let you guys look at the scoreboard to see how my performance was. But yes, I did not run any economic bonuses at all in this match. So I did lose credits. I just wanted to showcase the credit earning potential in this ship, which, you know, for super ships, they're credits wallet tanks unless you run high economic bonuses. But yes, I did lose credits because I didn't run any. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good day. Deuces.